This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at the Quebec countryside. But before that, this video is brought to you by Dwayne Unruh and Delilah Paxiron. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Quebec countryside map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you the description. Welcome to Quebec, in a small town inspired by reality. This map includes 52 fields, 5 inspired farms by reality, 97 purchasable plots of land, several forest areas, multiple sell points. There are collectibles on this map, and the map author suggests the AGI Pack. Now, in addition to the AGI Pack, this map does have 5 required mods. Those required mods are the American Silos Pack, the Hall for Machinery, the Metal Hall with Silo, the Old Cowshed for Cows, and the USA White Farm Building Pack. In addition to those required mods, we are also going to be using the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, precision farming, and straw harvest. While we load into the map in new farmer mode, I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, the main starting farm is completely void of buildings. In addition, you do not own any machinery, nor do you own any land in those alternate game modes. When we load into the map for the very first time, we start here at the vehicle shop, which is in the southeast corner. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. Now, one thing you're going to notice is we've got a lot of long rectangular shaped fields and a lot of organically shaped fields on this map. Some of these fields are probably not going to play very well with hired helpers, so just be cautious with respect to, if you like to hire helpers a lot, maybe pay attention to which fields you are purchasing, because some of these, well, they're not going to play so hot with hired helpers the way they are laid out, unless, of course, you go in here and clear out a bunch of trees and carve up and make a new field. This map does include all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 22. And if we go ahead and take a look at our lands, you'll see we start by owning Farmland ID 2, which is the main cow farm, as well as Farmland ID 3. In addition to the main cow farm, we have 4 other farms on the map. We have a cow farm at Farmland ID 7 that can be bought for $46,000. We also have a cow farm at Farmland ID 38 that can be bought for $67,000. We have an arable farm at Farmland ID 29 that can be bought for $72,780. And we have a cow farm at Farmland ID 27 that can be bought for $59,000. Other things to note: interesting enough, we can buy the main shop land for $24,000, and there is a very large silo in town at Farmland ID 97 that we can purchase for $10,700. Now, if you do start this map up in any alternate game mode, Farm Manager, start from scratch, for example, then you're going to be able to buy the main starting farm for $30,468. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us. Taking a look at the field numbers and farmlands, they are just kind of all over the place. Let's go and take a look at our field calculator screen. Here we can see the sizes of each particular field. And let's go ahead and take a look at our soil map. Now, this map is making use of the French soil map that is a part of the Precision Farming mod. As we can see from this soil map, most of your fields are going to be a combination of at least 2, if not 3, or all of the various soil types. This map does have the standard crop counter that is available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, if we take a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are once again available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we do have our animal outputs of eggs, wool, and milk that we can sell, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we continue down through all of the base game production items, we once again do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game production items that are available to us once again in Farm Sim 22. We do not have the ability to buy bulk lime, but we do have a stone crusher that is pre-placed on the map. So if we do run with stones enabled, we will have a way of getting rid of our stones. Those of you with the platinum expansion, even though we do have a fair amount of forestry on this map, we do not have a way of selling any other platinum expansion production items by default. So if you do want to get into platinum expansion production, you will need to put down your own sell point. Now, with respect to the premium expansion productions and crops, we do have the ability to sell all of our premium expansion crops and production items. Those playing with pumps and hoses, you do have a way of getting rid of your separated manure. And those playing with straw harvest, we do have multiple sell points for our hay and straw pellets. Taking a look at our vehicle overview, we do own all of our starting machinery. None of it is leased. It all is well maintained with no operating hours. We do start out with multiple cow farms. Now, I've gone ahead and purchased all of the farms, but even without purchasing all of the farms, most, if not all of the cow sheds are going to pop up here in the animals pen. I haven't tested to see if you can actually run all of these animal areas without actually owning the land, but it does show up without owning the farms. So I do believe that maybe you will be able to get by with that. But one thing I did test earlier is you cannot open any of the doors. So on animal pens that do require you to open gates, you will likely need to own the land in order to use those. Take a look at our contracts. We do have contracts available on this map. As far as production, we start up by owning 2 fermenting silos and 2 TMR silos. These are, I believe, at different farms, but we will take a closer look when we take a look at all of the other farms here in a little bit. And then lastly, this map does have 20 Halt by the Rune game cartridge collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at that starting fleet. Start with the John Deere 4755 and 8710 and Massey Ferguson 3670 medium tractors. We also have the Dudes Far Topliner 4090H harvester, as well as the 4090H harvester header and header trailer. We have our 1986 pickup truck, the Welger DK115 trailer. We have the Rabe EG39 cultivator and the Nordstein HK25 NS 3030 Cedar Power Hero combination. This set of equipment is also otherwise known as, well, the starting equipment that you have on Elm Creek. With respect to other vehicles or implements, this map does not have any custom modded vehicles or implements. Now I'm just going to quickly tab up to our starting farm, and that's where we're going to kind of begin our tour. Might as well run over here to the street and work our way in from there. So you're going to find quite a bit use of the USA White Farm Buildings pack on all of these farms. Right here we have the farmhouse that is a part of that pack, with our sleep trigger here in the kitchen area. We have our TMR mixer or seed storage silo there. So here we have our dump point for our food. And then we have a few things going on. We do have one of our fermenting silos here at the starting farm. That's going to be the output for that fermenting silo. The dump station is going to be outside. And then over here we have the fill pipe for the feed silo. So this building happens to have a feed silo where you can store various products, and that is going to be the output for that. We have our delivery point for our cattle, 45 cows in this building. Our manure is going to be coming out right here. This map is making a lot of use of these single grain bins. Now, I do know that you can indeed pretty much sell everything at every farm with one caveat. And we'll be talking about that caveat here in a little bit. We have our milk trigger. Then up here we do have bale storage. 250 total bales are going to be able to be stored up here. This is going to be the dump point for our feed silo. Then here we have our dump point for our fermenting silo. We have diesel storage, pressure washer, maintenance trigger, and then all of our starting machinery is located here in this machine shed, part of the AGI Pack. Now, typically we would do an aerial tour, and then we would come back and do a drive around. We're gonna change up the order a little bit, and I'm just gonna drive down this road just a little bit because here we have the second farm, and we're just gonna continue down this road because all of our farms are located on the same stretch. Second farm, farmland ID 7, another cow farm. We have our sleep trigger at our front door. We have our diesel storage. We have a 3-bay garage for vehicle storage. Seed and mineral feed silo. And then we have a setup. This is going to be the old cow shed for cows. Side here we have our trigger for our animals. 40 cows in this building. We have our milk trigger, and we have our dump point for our straw and hay and feed, and we have static cows. Never been a fan of static cows. I just wish we would stop having static cows. I'd rather have no cows than these cows. Just saying. Right here we have our fill point for our slurry. Got some slurry tanks. And then the way this map has been set up, or this farm has been set up, some more equipment storage, pressure washer. We have another one of these cow shed buildings. It's actually been smashed up against the side of the other. So we have our food, we have our milk, then we have our cow trigger here. Again, 40 cows. Now, this door is, well, it opens up into a wall. Right, there's no driving through here. So it's kind of a nice setup, the way the map author has put these together to kind of form two unique animal buildings. But the door, maybe you wish you could maybe disable the door trigger on that or done something else. So both of these buildings do have an attic, and in the attic you can store bales and whatnot. And then you can drop those right back down here into the, well, I guess I'm too big to, there we are. There we go. I thought I was too big to fall through the hole. And that is the second farm. Let's move on down to the third farm. It's going to be farmland ID 38, I believe. And just like the farm we were just at, we have another farmhouse with our sleep trigger at the front door. 3-bay garage building. We have our pressure washer, and the only thing at all of these farms that cannot be sold. It's either this pressure washer or the one at the next farm. Honestly, at this point, I have forgotten. But it's one of these. One of these is not going to be able to be sold. Everything else on every other farm can be sold. We have our diesel storage. We have our Weitzel grain bin. We have our base game standard cow barn here. So we have our slurry point. We have our feed and mineral feed silo, or seed and mineral feed silo. First, we have our grain, our feed trough here, our straw trough. And then we have, well, we have these two output pipes just sticking through the side of the building. We have two TMR silos here. So we have the output for both of those TMR silos inside of the building here. We have our activation icon, our production chain icon here for those. We're going to take silage, hay, and straw and make TMR. And we have our dump point for both of those here on the outside of the barn. This particular facility will hold 80 cows. And then we have our milk trigger located right there. Slurry storage tank. And another nice building for our machinery and implements. On to the fourth farm. Fourth farm is going to be an arable farm. We are once again using our farmhouse from the white building pack. We have a scale. Couple sheds for our machinery. And then we have 3 Meridian grain bin tanks, pressure washer, and diesel tank. And then we have our 5th and final farm. This is also going to be a dairy farm. Across the street, we have our maintenance workshop and our farmhouse. Then we have a hopper bin for storing grain, feed, fertilizer. We have a expansion silo. We have our slurry out. We have our fuel. We have another TMR silo located right here. So we have the dump point for that. We're going to have to go inside the barn to get our output pipe and interactive icon for that. Pressure washer. We have our input for our feed silo, which is a part of this barn. Our seed and mineral feed silo. We have one of those at every farm. And then just like the first farm, we do have a bale storage on the top end. Large machine shed. So our food and straw here. We have our output pipe and our interactive icon for our TMR silo. And then we have our output pipe for our feed silo. So we have our fermenting stave silo. Chaff, grass, hay, straw is going to make silage. I think I misspoke there when I said that was maybe a TMR silo. We have our cow drop off. 45 cows again in this barn. Manure is also going to be found in there. A couple more grain bins. We're also down here associated with this particular farm. So, with respect to our scoring metric, This map has 12 production items built in. We are going to be giving the map a full point with respect to production being built in. We have a large and small fermenting silo. We have 2 TMR silos. We have a dairy, cereal, oil mill, grape processing, grain mill, bakery, carpentry, and sugar mill. With respect to the ability to sell all of our base game crops, animal outputs, and production items, we are once again giving this map a full point as well. And I'm feeling a little lenient and a little generous with respect to can the farms be customizable, because everything can be sold with the exception of that darn pressure washer. Now, I feel that you could probably work your way around that one particular item. So I do feel like we'll go ahead and give the map a full point there as well. Now, if we get a little bit of altitude, you can really see how this map has been set up, where it just feels like we've got a heavily forested area, and this heavily forested area has basically been cleared in certain areas for fields, and in lots of respect, these fields are split by trees. This one is really interesting, in fact, in that we have this row of trees right down the middle of this field. I think 99% of the players are going to come here, and first thing they're going to do is clear out all those trees and clear out all of these trees to make one large rectangular field. Quite an interesting set of field sizes and shapes, for sure. Especially this one right here. But I think a lot of these fields are really begging to have someone come in and do a bit of forestry and clean them up as far as shape-wise. Now we're just going to go ahead and kind of make our way over here to the vehicle shop. And right here out front, we do have our dealer trigger. And then around the back, we have our maintenance trigger, our dealer maintenance trigger, buy, sell, trade, repair. And we have our spawn point for our vehicles and machinery. Pretty decent size spawn point for vehicles and machinery. Given the layout of these fields, I think the fields and this map is going to work well with medium-sized machinery at the least. Now let's make our way over to the town. Pretty much all of the sell points are going to be located down here in the southeast corner of the map. This map is making use of the Elm Creek buildings for the most part. So with respect to the buildings using the new texturing technique as well as the ground textures, we're going to be giving the map a full point there as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at these ground textures. Fairly standard assortment of ground textures as well as plants. Now we can basically do a loop of this road, and what is up with the traffic around here, man? What I was saying was we can basically do a loop of this road area and see pretty much the rest of everything going on. We have our dealer trigger right here for animal dealer. One of our main grain sell points is located right next door. And then right next door to that We then have a silo, and this is a buyable piece of land. So this is a usable storage silo for our own use. Seriously, there's like traffic galore in town here. We have our stone crusher. We have our fuel point. And then we move into various other sell points and productions. So we have our supermarket, farmer's market, our carpentry production, our sugar mill and bakery. These are all base game items. We really don't need to take too close of a look at those. We have our biomass heating plant for wood chips and logs. This map does not have a sawmill, nor does it have a BGA. We have Mama Joe's Diner sell point. We have the dairy production. We have our cereal production here behind La Familia. We have our grocery sell point. Sorry, our grocery is not a sell point. It is simply a static object. We have our oil mill, grape processing, and our grain mill. And that is, well, everyone, that is the Quebec countryside with respect to our final scoring metric, trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked. We're going to be giving the map a full point there as well. So with an asterisk, because again, I was feeling a little bit lenient today. With an asterisk, we're going to be giving this map a score of 5 out of 5. And again, the asterisk is because there's one pressure washer at one of the 5 farms that I was not able to sell when I tried to sell. But everything else at all of the other farms could be sold. I think this is a really nice map. Kind of an interesting map with the way the fields are shaped. There is a ton, an absolute ton of forestry options going on here. I think it would have been cool to have seen the platinum expansion being attributed to in some way. Possibly at least just putting down a sell point that accepts platinum expansion, because look at all these trees here on the eastern side of the map, and well, really kind of gives that, like I mentioned, that whole thought process that this whole area was a vast, dense forest, and people have come in, they've cleared out enough forest in order to make some interesting fields. Why certain patches of forest have been left, it would be nice to have seen kind of like big boulders in there or other things that would really lend credence as to why farmers would have left those trees there as opposed to just clearing them out. But that's for another day. I'd love to hear your all's thoughts down in the comments below with respect to this particular map. Is this a map style that you have been wanting and hoping to see? What do you think of the 5 farms all laid out here on kind of the main drag? And until next time, happy farming.